It's coming up to 9 AM on the morning of November the 9th 2016, and I'm just on my way up to Jordan's youth hostel for another autumn overnight cycling trip. And Jordan's is on the outskirts of London, although it's in a very peaceful remote area associated with the Quakers. It's quite close to the Friends meeting house. So if you can imagine the orbital motorway of London, the M25 is a clock face. If you picture 10 o'clock, and then just outside the circumference of that clock face is where Jordan's would be. At the moment I'm riding through the stunning Badminton estate. The autumn colours are absolutely fantastic on this lovely avenue of trees. I hope it sort of comes out. So to stretch the route out to a 200-kilometre DIY, it goes from west to east, but not directly. I've had to sort of stretch it out northwards. It's going to actually look like a boomerang shape in effect. Yeah, as I was saying, the routes to stretch it out to a 200-kilometre DIY. It's actually going to look a bit like a boomerang shape from west to east, but with a northern sort of bow to the route. I'm benefiting from the wind again today. It's north-northwesterly. Most of the route, especially the end of it, is going to be quite beneficial, I think. Most of it so far has been a tailwind behind me. Just this little stretch through Badminton heading due north is more of a crosswind at the moment, actually. So on we press, and I'll try and do some updates on the road. Been on the road just under 3 hours now, although Malmesbury's only 20 miles away as the crow flies. Come quite an indirect way. It's actually been fantastic out through the Badminton estate and round some fantastically leafy lanes. The rain stopped. It's been heavy rain during the night. It's stopped now. There's a lot of sort of residue on the road, so the boat's quite muddy already. I'm on my trusty Caribou, and just having a quick snack here in Malmesbury, then I'll be pressing on. Well, I'm in the village of Oaksea, somewhere in between Malmesbury and Cirencester in the Cotswolds. So I'm just sitting out the rain for 5 or 6 minutes in a bus shelter. Since climbing to the top of Bannerdown, I've had the wind behind me mostly, and I'm sort of making quite good progress. And to be honest, it rained so heavy during the night, and it's moving eastwards. I think I've actually caught up last night's rain a little bit, so I figure if I just sit here for 5 or 10 minutes, let the rain get in front of me, if that makes sense, and give me a chance to sort of do a lot more riding in the dry. Just using this opportunity to give my garden a quick charge as well. I don't really want that to be running low on power in the dark later on, so I'll be topping it up at every sort of opportunity today on the route to Jordan's. So it's about 20 to 12, and then I've just passed through the really nice village of Fairford. And the funny thing is, on my Super Randoner Around the Year series, I skirted around Fairford so often on my rides, on the assumption that, I won't go through a built-up area. It could cost me time stopping and starting, so I always felt that bit of smugness that I was bypassing it. And today's been a bit of an eye-opener. It's a really nice place to get through it, no problems at all. In fact, I sort of would have fancied stopping there for lunch. It's just a little bit too early. It's about 12:15. I'm in the lovely village in the Cotswolds of East Leach. I've been through here many times on Old Axis group rides. Beautiful place. There's a river going through it. Then I should be heading up that way, about 7 or 8 miles from Burford, which is where I'm probably going to head for lunch. So it's about 1:15, had me lunch in Burford, now heading out through the Windrush Valley, well over halfway, got the wind behind me, everything's going really well actually. So it's about 2:10. I'm in the village of Charbury in the Cotswolds. Been dodging the showers for about the last 20 minutes or so, although it's stopped raining now. Got very fond memories of this village actually. Rode my first ever 200-kilometre road axe from here back in the early 80s. It was called Tour of the Cotswolds, 200-kilometre, major achievement at the time. Sort of landed on my feet a bit as well. Contacted the organiser, sort of said I would like the option of sleeping in the village hall the night before. I arrived at the village hall, they met me there, told me I was going to be the only person there. Wasn't worth their while putting the heat on, I'd be really cold and wet, so miserable. invited me back to their house. So yeah, that was quite fortunate. I used to be a youth hostel here. I came back here and spent a few nights in the youth hostel here over the years. Closed down 10, 12, 15 years ago now, so yeah, good fond memories of this place. It's about 20 to 4 now, and I'm definitely on unfamiliar roads. A lot of the place names, most of them I'm just not recognising, so that's also a sign of being in unfamiliar territory. One thing's just occurred to me: the hostel does not offer meals, it's self-catering only, and I forgot to bring a bag of pasta and some margarine, so I was going to pick up a sort of tin of something near the hostel anyway, so it's a case of picking up all my food. The trouble is I'm on such a nice route, it's just not going through any villages even with shops on actually, so just when you want the busy main road where it goes, none in sight, so got a couple of hours anyway, about 29 miles to go, so doing really well for time. 5:15, I'm in Buckinghamshire now, about 15-16 miles from the hostel. After my last post, a couple of things started to go wrong actually. That'll serve me right, won't it, about saying how easy it is. First of all, my Garmin gave me a battery low alarm, which seems strange because I sort of charged it a couple of times this morning and at lunchtime, but I did notice that happened last winter actually. Seem to have to charge it much more often in colder weather, so whether it's a battery issue or not, definitely picked up in the spring, so not a major disaster. Then I came to my second no-through road of the day, diversion. The first one I got through okay, the second one literally cyclists, pedestrians couldn't get through, a bridge was out and there's workmen there and everything. I literally had to double back. One of the reasons I like the Garmin 200 so much is the screen is really uncluttered. There's no mapping, but it gives you loads of subtle clues how to get back on course. I mean, for example, I was running parallel to the route to the left, and so what happens is you get the track appearing in the right hand side of the screen, and then for the first few minutes you get an arrow telling you, you know, you've gone wrong, you should be going back, and then after a few minutes it starts picking up that, you know, you intend to go on, then it'll start pointing over to the right. So it gives you loads of subtle clues to get back en route. You don't have to go through any of this mapping and try and work out where you are. It just gives you loads of clues. It's quite a good skill to have as well. You know, if things do go wrong, it's good to know that you can get yourself out of that sort of predicament. So then I came into Thames. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's spelt Thames without the S. That was quite busy actually, and that's when I was trying to sort of do the last few manoeuvres to get back on course. It's in heavy traffic, so again it sort of went okay. And then as you rejoin the track, a circle sort of expands to tell you you're homing in on it, and then back on course. Had about 6 or 7 miles on quite a busy road. Hit that at rush hour, so that wasn't particularly nice. Managed to pick up my food for this evening, which is really good. And now I've just come off a B road. I'm on a minor road heading through a village. Said about hour, just over an hour to go, 15 miles. I'll press on. Well, it's about 5 to 7 and I've just got to a youth hostel. After my last little post, with about 10-12 miles to go, there's quite some long climbs over the Chiltern Hills and some quite tricky descents in the pitch black. It was very atmospheric. But now I've just turned around the corner, come up a drive to this place. So this is Jordan's. I got my bike lights going. I've got some coloured lights in the wheels that look really good, and they're just stationary and flashing at the moment, but actually when they go at speed it looks like a solid sort of rim going around, coloured rim. It throws a lot of people. But yeah, this is the youth hostel. Wow, look at that. Here's me just going to check in. Well, I've just checked in. I've got myself a dormitory here. There's one other person. Got that bed there, so I'm going to go for this bunk down there near the door. Feels really nice and warm in here. It's self-catering. There's 2 other guys staying. The warden's lady's very, very friendly. Said it's beautiful atmosphere up here. It was so colourful as I come around the corner. So just gonna literally get changed now, have a shower, have my food, and I bought a couple of bottles of beer actually, just in the last town actually, about 3 or 4 miles from the hostel. I made that classic cyclist mistake of thinking about food as I came along. I sort of got my heart set on chili con carne, you know, just really fancied this sort of red kidney beans, and then sometimes that's lethal, because if you don't find what you want, you really sort of don't enjoy what you do find. But yeah, luckily I got chili con carne, load of bread, fruit cocktail, a couple of bottles of beer, and some chocolate if I get the munchies, oh, and some biscuits. So it's about 7:45 on Tuesday the 10th of November. I've just got up, and this is an outside view of this amazing hostel. The lights are still on, they're kept on all the time. Last night on arrival it looked amazing. So you can see there's a nice outdoor area for fires and barbecues, bird tables, loads of squirrels around. There's a big seat carved into an old tree stump there. Those white stones actually were the markers, were actually quite useful getting up here last night. It really was dark and I came around the corner and saw this. So anyway, little guided tour. It's a lovely old building. That was my men's dormitory for last night. Nice bit of sculpture there. And then into the main common room. It's really cosy in here. Nicola, the warden, she's been here for 16 years. She's really made this place her own actually. It's so cosy, it really does have a really homely feel to it. And she saw I was a bit wet, so she actually hooked up a washing line for my cycling kit last night. There's quite a bit of heat coming off that wood burner last night. I wasn't really cold with all the clothes, but the thought of putting on damp clothes in the morning is pretty horrible. My shoes especially, but they're bone dry now, so it certainly did the trick, so that was really nice for her. Then into the kitchen. So in the kitchen you've got free tea and coffee for visitors, so I've just made myself a cup of coffee, just doing myself some toast, and there's also a shelf of free food, and that's quite handy. I'm going to put some strawberry jam on my toast for breakfast. Yeah, so last night when I got here, Nicola the warden, she's really friendly. She's been here about 16 years. She really has made the place her own, really personalised it, and very nicely too. Two other guys here actually they weren't traditional hostelers, they were guys working away from home for the week. One was an electrician and one was a products designer. In fact, the electrician was doing some work down at Broadmoor, which for some reason I always thought Broadmoor was more remote, you know. I sort of imagined Dartmoor or the Isle of Wight, it's just down the road from here actually, so that was a bit of an eye-opener. Yesterday was really good. I think I said during the clips yesterday, most of the ride was really easy. Then a couple of things went wrong, but I sort of managed to sort of circumvent those okay. And then the Chilterns were fantastic. Just as it got dark, it was quite a long, steep climb up through these woods on quite a minor road. Very few cars coming by me, so that was good. And it was, when you got to the summit, it was just a forest, and the sky was covered by trees. There was like an overlap, and there was quite a bright first quarter moon just shining through, so that was atmospheric. And then coming down was quite tricky, so it's quite a gravelly lane which looked like it had a lot of rain washing sort of debris down, so I had to take care on that. And then the last sort of 10-11 miles were quite built up, but the traffic wasn't too bad. And then I got on this minor road just coming the last mile to Jordan's, and then you come up this track and see this amazing hostel. So that was good. This morning I'm just riding back to Bath. It's fairly direct route actually. Constructed it via lanes, but it's a pretty direct route, about 103 miles. I did consider going down to the Magna Carta, because Runnymede only about 18 miles from here, making it another DIY 200 kilometre, but I just thought I really want to go and see the Magna Carta. I did a MOOC about it recently, really interesting, found out a lot about it. And then also there's an artwork there called The Jurors, so I just didn't really sort of want to rush that. When I go back, I want to really enjoy it. So yeah, I'm going to have my breakfast now and be setting off in about half an hour, and then back in Bath probably about 8-9 hours from departure point. So sign off now, till next time.